You think it's bad now? Wait till you have to pay $100 a day to leave your 15-minute city. The conspiracy.
Right. So only rich people are going to be able to afford that. It's just like the meat thing, right?
Welcome to Rogan Recap Show, where we squeeze a 2 hours and 15 minutes into about 15 minutes so you catch the big ideas, the wild moments, and the takeaways in one quick hit. This week, Joe welcomes Mike Benz, a former State Department official and founder of the Foundation for Freedom Online. Benz is a master cartographer of the deep state, revealing how hidden networks of government, intelligence, and organized crime shape our world. If you've ever felt like the news is missing a crucial piece, or that global events are driven by forces you can't quite grasp, this episode is your Rosetta Stone. Benz connects the dots from Jeffrey Epstein to climate policy, exposing the deep, often illicit structures of power. This is the signal without the noise, helping you see the unseen. Mike Benz doesn't pull punches. He immediately dives into the core pain point for many, the Jeffrey Epstein saga. But his take isn't what you might expect. For Benz, Epstein wasn't primarily a blackmailer. He was a professional fixer, a nexus point between intelligence agencies, private finance, and organized crime. His value came from his ability to facilitate illicit deals and money laundering, making him an indispensable asset to powerful networks.
That Jeffrey Epstein appears to have been involved in the BCCI financing of this very operation. So if you turn the volume up and you start at the beginning.
U.S. National Security Advisor Brzezinski flew to Pakistan to set about rallying resistance. He wanted to arm the Mujahideen without revealing America's role. On the Afghan border near the Khyber Pass, he urged the soldiers of God to redouble their efforts.
We know of their deep belief in God, and we are confident that their struggle will succeed. You know, that land over there is yours. You'll go back to it one day because your fight will prevail and you'll have your homes and your mosques back again because your cause is right and God is on your side.
Now this
wasn't just about personal depravity, it was about the mechanics of covert operations. Epstein's network provided a plausibly deniable way to move money and influence, operating outside conventional oversight. Think of him as an off-the-books logistics manager for the deep state. This fixer model isn't new. Benz traces a long, disturbing history of intelligence agencies, particularly the CIA and its predecessors, forming alliances with organized crime. From the Italian mafia fighting Mussolini to funding anti-communist rebels, these strange bedfellows used black markets and untouchable banks to achieve geopolitical ends.
Is effectively state-sponsored, a state-sponsored mafia with an untouchable bank. And at the time, and Larry Summers explains this to Jeffrey Epstein in very simple terms, which is, here you go. The most important change in the Vatican may not be Pope Benedict's sudden retirement, but change in leadership of the Institute for Works of Religion, the Vatican's bank. Because of the Vatican's status as a sovereign country, it's exempt from transparency rules of not only Italy, but of the European Union. This status allows its elite clients to evade any scrutiny in their money transfers. Last May, Vatican Bank president was fired after Italian authorities opened an investigation into a far-flung bribery scheme. And he goes through this, but what's important here is the British, when we think of offshore banking now, it's usually associated with
Cayman
Islands, Jersey, Man.
The Vatican Bank, for example, served as an early offshore banking hub, exempt from scrutiny, facilitating these illicit flows. This alliance, dubbed Operation Gladio in some contexts, shows how deep the integration between state power and criminal enterprise can run. It's a blueprint for deniable operations that continues to this day. Benz then pivots to how these deep state tactics manifest in modern policy, specifically through what he calls the geopolitics of control. He argues that seemingly benign policies like climate initiatives can be weaponized for strategic gain. He posits that the push for green energy was partly a geopolitical battering ram against Russia, aiming to kneecap their oil and gas economy. This created a new financial frontier, attracting trillions in climate finance and powerful investors like Bill Gates and Al Gore, who then lobby for mandates that ensure their profits.
that the U.S. government, together with foreign allies, pursued this kind of, demonization of carbon at a real policy level, or hydrocarbon-based fuels, as a it's kind of geopolitical battering ram against newly resurgent Russia in the mid-2000s, as Putin was getting power back over a bunch of post-Soviet Eastern satellite countries through basically exploiting his leverage around pipelines, and the fact that, this is like the John McCain type quote, right? That Russia is a gas station with a military, right? You hear that a lot. Mm-hmm. Gazprom, the state-sponsored oil company, was like effectively the biggest oil company Gazprom was for gas, but Rosneft and Russia had at one point the largest oil exports in the world. It was the motor engine of their economy, oil and gas.
The same playbook applies to social control. Benz highlights the alarming trend of 15-minute cities in the UK, where citizens face fines for leaving designated zones, tracked by digital surveillance. This, he argues, is a terrifying example of a control grid being implemented under the guise of urban planning. Finally, he exposes the censorship industrial complex, a collaboration between US and UK governments, NGOs, and tech platforms to throttle misinformation. This network, often funded by our own taxes, works to control narratives and suppress dissenting voices, echoing historical covert influence operations. One of the most jaw-dropping revelations is Jeffrey Epstein's own attempts to uncover his ties to the CIA. Benz reveals that Epstein twice filed Freedom of Information Act requests with the agency in 1999 and 2011, seeking records about himself. The CIA's response? A classic, neither confirm nor deny for classified information, while claiming no open and acknowledged agency affiliations. This isn't just a bureaucratic dodge, it's the standard response when an individual's personnel file does exist, but is classified.
We can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of any such documents, so you can consider this a partial denial of your FOIA request. Now, what's so interesting about that is you may think, if you read that Jeffrey Epstein just requested any public-facing links between him and the CIA, or what? Just a general, what do you have on me that the public can search, just to see? First of all, the fact that he did that alone, twice, in 1999, 2011, says something. But you might think, okay, well, he just wants to know if other people might think that he's CIA. He's moving up in the world in 1999. He's about to be a massive public figure. He wants to know if other people FOIA the CIA for records.
This implies that Epstein had a classified relationship with the CIA, a bombshell that recontextualizes his entire life and death. Benz argues that Congress now has clear grounds to compel the CIA to release these files, just as they did with the JFK assassination records. Another deeply unsettling thread connects former Attorney General Bill Barr directly to these shadowy networks. Benz details Barr's career, starting with 7 years at the CIA during the Iran-Contra affair, a massive covert operation that Epstein was allegedly involved in money laundering for. Barr was the CIA's point man for obstructing congressional inquiries into Iran-Contra. Later, as Attorney General, he pardoned officials involved in the BCCI scandal, a CIA-backed bank used for illicit funding, which Epstein's firm Bear Stearns was clearing transactions for.
That it happened under the watch of an attorney general who himself was so deeply embedded in the Epstein network his whole life. I mean, from the weird kind of coincidence of Bill Barr's father, Donald Barr, and Jeffrey Epstein's Dalton School, to the fact that Bill Barr started his career in the CIA during the Iran-Contra operation that Jeffrey Epstein appears to have been doing the covert money laundering for. I mean, Bill Barr was like 7 years. He went to Knight Law School, trained to be a lawyer while he was at the CIA, and then his main job was being the CIA's blocker and tackler to obstruct. He was the CIA's point of contact to Congress during the Iran-Contra scandal that Jeffrey Epstein was so deeply involved in, and was blamed in the press.
And then, as AG again in 2019, Barr was in charge of the FBI when Epstein mysteriously died in prison. This pattern of high-level involvement suggests Barr was not just an observer, but a key player in protecting the very enterprise that Epstein served. It casts a long shadow over the official narrative of Epstein's demise. Alright, let's tally up the damage with the Rogan scorecard for this Mike Benz episode. Benz and Joe both dropped plenty of F-bombs and other colorful language, a true testament to the intensity of the topics. This one was a deep, deep dive. Benz connects so many disparate events and figures, it's a dizzying but ultimately illuminating journey to the center of the earth. Mike Benz is a walking encyclopedia. His recall and ability to weave complex narratives is astounding, though at times it can feel like drinking from a fire hose. Definitely a high-coherence guest. If this recap helped you navigate the labyrinthine world of covert ops and deep state connections without burning 2.25 hours, hit that like button. We're here to give you the signal, always. Also, be sure to subscribe for more 15-minute breakdowns of every JRE episode. From stand-up legends to heavyweight scientists to full-tilt conspiracy theorists, we break it all down for you. Let us know in the comments, what was the most shocking revelation for you in this Mike Benz episode? And do you think Congress will ever compel the CIA to release its Epstein files? You can find a link to the full JRE episode in the description below, along with links to Mike Benz's work. Mike Benz is a tireless researcher and a crucial voice in understanding the intricacies of the deep state. If you want to dive deeper into his work, start with his X account at Mike Benz Cyber, where he frequently posts detailed threads and analysis on these topics. He's also the founder and executive director of the Foundation for Freedom Online, an organization dedicated to fighting censorship and promoting digital freedom. Benz referenced several key resources during the conversation. For the historical alliance between intelligence and organized crime, he recommends Operation Gladio, The CIA, the Vatican, and the Mafia by Paul L. Williams. And for a visual deep dive into the NSA's money laundering through Native American casinos during Iran-Contra, check out The Octopus Murders documentary, available on HBO or Netflix. This Mike Benz episode is a masterclass in connecting seemingly disparate events into a coherent, albeit disturbing, narrative. It paints a picture of a world where power operates through hidden channels, where fixers like Epstein are integral, and where even policies like climate action can have covert geopolitical agendas. It forces us to confront the idea that what we see on the surface is often a carefully constructed illusion, masking decades of intricate, often illicit, operations by intelligence agencies and their private sector allies. The lingering questions are profound. Can these deep state networks ever truly be dismantled, or are they an inherent, unfixable part of modern governance? And how many other Epsteins are operating today, connecting power to illicit activities under the radar, their true roles yet to be exposed? If you love these breakdowns, you'll also want to check out our Rogan Deep Dives. These roughly 30-minute topic anthologies synthesize high-impact clips from various JRE episodes, providing a comprehensive overview of Joe Rogan's stance on recurring themes like aliens, DMT, or ancient civilizations. It's the ultimate way to get Joe's full perspective on the topics you care about most. Don't miss out on more essential insights and wild moments. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a recap or deep dive. All the links mentioned, including the full episode, guest links, and our community poll, are waiting for you in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next Rogan Recap.